You are legally required to open the books, whether you like it or not. And what I mean by that is in Arizona, we are a full disclosure state, meaning you have to disclose your finances to the opposing party. That can include things like bank statements. It can include the books to your business. It can include things like credit card statements. Your entire financial makeup, your entire financial picture is an interested issue in your divorce, and therefore all documents establishing proof of what that financial picture is are relevant and will need to be disclosed to the opposing party throughout your case. Hiding assets in a divorce can absolutely backfire. In fact, most of the time it will backfire. Hiding assets is never a great idea in a divorce. Usually at the time of the conclusion of the divorce, whether that's a court order or an agreement by the party, there's going to be an after discovered assets clause. That clause typically is not going to benefit you if an asset is found after the course of the marriage. It'll usually give the opposing party a larger chunk of something that you did not appropriately disclose during the marriage. Arizona is a full disclosure state. It's very important that you just disclose the documents, put it all out there. Let's come to an agreement that works for both sides. Try to get things resolved. Do not hide your assets. It will almost always come back to bite you in the end of the case. Discovery in Arizona divorce cases is how the real truth comes out. Typically, when we're talking about discovery, we're talking about you going and asking for information, documents, witnesses, whatever that may be, from the opposing party. Now, this can be done through various methods. We can send requests for the information to the opposing party. We can send, of course, requests for the information through something like a subpoena to the institution directly to request the documents if we're worried about getting it from the opposing party or if they're refusing to provide it. We can do things like depositions. There's a multitude of factors that we can look at to make sure that we're getting the information we need to appropriately litigate and to get you through the conclusion of your divorce. The court can absolutely and will absolutely give penalties for violating discovery and disclosure rules. If you refuse to provide documents that were requested by the opposing party, that the opposing party is entitled to, things that are relevant to your case, things that go directly to the issues at hand, then you can find yourself in some severe consequences. Doing that sort of thing can cause unreasonable delay to the proceedings. The court will, in certain circumstances, order that you pay a portion of the other side's attorney's fees for causing that delay. It's really important that if you are trying to not disclose a piece of evidence, that you speak with your counsel before you do that. You want to make sure it's not something you're actually required to provide, because if it is, you can definitely be sanctioned for not providing that willingly. Typically, when money doesn't add up in an Arizona divorce, we bring in what we call a forensic accountant. Forensic accountants are fantastic people. They're people who can jump into the numbers, jump into the bank statements, and figure out exactly where money is going. When we've got a situation where an opposing party perhaps owns a business, or maybe they're just living a lifestyle that's not consistent with what they're indicating they're actually earning, we may want to bring on this forensic accountant. Those are experts. They're typically CPAs. They're people who are very well versed in the financial world, and they're able to jump into these account statements and really figure out why it is that that other person seems to be making substantially more money, or what's going on in the business as compared to what they're actually reporting their income is. The forensic accountant will dive in, they'll find accounts that haven't yet been disclosed, they'll figure out where exactly the money's going, and they can typically issue a report that delineates perhaps what that person could have made or what they actually are making, so that we can use that to appropriately litigate or settle your case.